Hi, welcome back to Viewpoint. Cindy and I are talking with Todd Mourning, the Dr. Todd Mourning, who is the Director of Rehabilitation Services, Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital, and Jennifer DiPasquale, who, among other things, is a certified diabetes counselor. And we're talking about the diabetes fair that they will be presenting, and that will be this Saturday. And do you want to tell us a little bit, Todd, about exactly how this is going to work if I come in the door seeking to learn things from the presenters at this?
Yes, we have four presenters, myself, Jennifer, Kat, who's a nurse practitioner, and then Jude Clapper, who is also another dietitian. And then Dr. Wahab is doing a keynote presentation at 9 o'clock. The way we've got it set up, you come in, you register. There are 4 different stations to go to. I'll be in our rehab gym. Jennifer and the other ladies will be in different conference rooms. The way it's lined out, you can pick any session you want to go to first, and then you rotate through the different sessions every 15 to 20 minutes, taking a break in the middle for Dr. Wahab's keynote presentation. Every session you go to, your card will be stamped. Once you've completed all 4 sessions, you'll be entered into eligibility to win a Kindle Fire, and you also receive a free diabetic cookbook. So you have to go to all 4 sessions
to be eligible.
To be eligible for that.
It's kind of like the lottery. You have to buy a ticket if you're going to win, right?
And I think the event starts at 8. I think the first session is going to start about 8:10 or so, and each session will go about 15 minutes with a 5-minute break then to get you to your next place. There will also be healthy diabetic sample snacks in the cafeteria, which is being provided for by Jennifer Steele, who's our cafeteria manager. Anything else we've got going on with that?
No, I just want to mention, though, that to attend the event, we need you to register in advance, and you can do that by email, events@healthycommunitiespartnership.org, or call the Healthy Communities Partnership that is headed by Christy Lesson at ALMH.
And that number is 605 5009, I believe.
Okay,
Or you can call Amy Denny, which is 605-5007. So just remember James Bond, 5007.
She is. What is it that Dr. Wahab is going to specifically address?
He is just going to be talking about the general evaluation, treatment, diabetes as a whole. I saw him the other day at church. I said, "What are you talking about?" And he says, I'm going to talk about what I talk about with my patients, what to look for, signs and symptoms, recognition, early intervention, just basically an interaction between the group, trying to get them aware of what they need to be looking for and how they can go about treating. So
that behavior mod is going to be a big portion of this whole picture, isn't it?
Yes.
Very much so.
I think even we who have not had any diabetes know that you have to watch your diet and you have to exercise. But there's a lot of difference between knowing that intellectually and getting on the bandwagon. So that behavior mod is going to be very important.
And we don't expect anybody to jump up and immediately begin a intensive 4-hour per day exercise program.
That's not what you're advocating.
You start by getting off the couch and moving. Trying to incorporate a little more walking into your day. Start slow, gradually take it up from there. Typically, recommendations once your body is able to tolerate it. And if you are a controlled diabetic, uncontrolled diabetics, exercise can actually increase your blood sugar. Jennifer can explain that here in a second. But if you are a controlled diabetic, and this is for adults and for kids also, for the kids with juvenile diabetes, cardiovascular training, such as walking, treadmill, aerobics, water aerobics, stair stepper, anything that's going to get your heart rate up and sustain it over a long period of time 4 to 5 days a week, 20 to 60 minutes. But if you can only do 5 minutes, you start with 5 minutes. Resistance training has many benefits. Resistance training, I'm talking about doing something to improve the strength of the muscles that you're using. So you could be lifting 5-pound weights. You could use exercise bands. You could go to the gym and use weight machines. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to get real muscular bound. Well, you're not going to. You just need to build some muscle tone, which is going to promote more usage of the available glucose by your muscles. So it's going to help keep your glucose and your blood sugar down because you've got a little bit more muscle to burn more of that off. 2 to 3 days a week, 2 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions of light to moderate weights. Again, people use ankle weights, hand weights. A gallon of milk weighs about 8 pounds. So take a milk carton, fill it half full of water, and you got about 4 pounds. So there's all kinds of different ways you can do that. Body resistance exercise is becoming very popular. People are doing push-ups, sit-ups, different kind of stuff, using their own body weight where you don't need any equipment. And then flexibility, stretching your major muscle groups, each one 20 to 30 seconds. Before and after, typically after, we'll get a better flexibility stretch. After exercise. And I also wanted to talk, we see, and my parents have fallen victim to this, they like infomercials.
Oh dear.
And you see all this stuff on TV, and a lot of it is very good. It has good intentions. You see the 10-minute trainer, P90X, Zumba. They have good intentions, but a lot of times that's way too intense for what this population needs. They need to start by walking, not by doing 100 jumping jacks and 100 sit-ups right off the bat. You need to start slow and go up from there.
And work into it.
Well, you end up setting yourself up for failure.
You are. That's why we got to start. We got to find a nice, easy starting place. The equipment you see all kinds of different Miracle Fitness pieces.
Yes.
Now, this is where my mom and dad have fallen victim. They were under the impression that if you bought it and let it sit on your living room floor, it would actually do something for you. They found out that you actually had to get on it and use it, which is a deterrent for most people. So
yes. Would that be passive aggressive then?
Yes.
But I think a lot of people have that. I bought the treadmill and it ends up being a lovely clothes rack.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to, that a lot of that equipment can be good, but you have to understand that in order to use the equipment properly, you got to get on it.
Yeah.
You've got to use it.
And it's not even necessary to have it. Like you said, I can take a milk jug, fill it up halfway, and I've got a 4-pound weight that cost me nothing, basically, because I
Right.
was going to throw the container away or recycle it.
Right.
Walking around the block, take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
How did Healthy Communities Partnership decide that diabetes was going to be one of their major researches?
There was a huge community survey that was done. Healthy Community Partnerships had a 5-year goal, and we'd come to our 5-year mark, which was very surprising for me. I didn't think we'd been around that long. And so we looked at where we'd been and where we needed to go, and we did this survey, and things were identified in Logan County that were problematic, and diabetes being one of them. And so kind of focusing on that and how we can bring the number of people being diagnosed down, the number of people that have been diagnosed and are needing oral medication, that by changing behavior modification, diet, exercise, that they could no longer be determined to be a diabetic.
Well, I have a little tidbit to throw in there. This is a frightening fact about Logan County. Through that survey, they identified that 9.9% of all adults in Logan County have diabetes. Those are the ones we know about, not the ones that are not the ones that are undiagnosed. And Caucasian adults are the least susceptible group by ethnicity to develop diabetes. And that's what Logan County is mostly made up of. And yet we have a higher rate than the nation for incidence of diabetes. So
Does anybody have an answer to that dilemma?
I don't want to upset anyone, but probably lifestyle factors.
Right.
This is
Now-
a pull no punches program. Put it out there.
Well, now let's talk about those lifestyle choices. Oh dear, Cince.
Oh, you derailed.
I'm derailed.
Okay, this is my thought. When you talk about lifestyle, I look at, we're a very rural community. We have a lot of people that are farmers. I farmed for 6 years as a hired hand. Let me tell you, I was in the best shape I had ever been in. So I find it amazing that not only that there's not a lot of diversity, but that almost 10% have diabetes, and yet the majority of us are living in rural America where, it's a quarter mile to the mailbox.
Right, but most people, technology has taken away that previous activity. We look for convenience, we look for getting things done more quickly and not taking those extra few minutes to do it, by walking to the mailbox.
Well, and if you're looking at diet, we're so quick to buy, it's all in one bag and I can throw it in the skillet. And I have a 15-minute lovely meal that's so full of sodium and preservatives, and instead of cutting up those vegetables.
Well,
Is obesity a contributing factor? Because we hear day in and day out that we're becoming a nation of pretty fluffy people.
very much so. Obesity not only can help promote the other factors that contribute to diabetes diagnosis. So there's the obesity, there's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and it definitely promotes insulin resistance because our body fat, especially abdominally, central body fat, kind of acts like a fog. And our insulin can't get to the cells to be able to get blood sugar where it needs to go. That's why, 5 to 7%, we used to say 8%, before that 10%, 5 to 7% weight reduction, significant improvement in your body's insulin usage. Okay, so just that much weight loss.
I
Which
have a
isn't whole
statistic
lot.
on that.
You do?
For every 10 pounds of weight loss, you see a 20% improvement in insulin sensitivity.
Is that right?
So even for someone who is morbidly obese,
Uh-huh.
little changes that you make every day in your lifestyle add up to have a big positive improvement in your health.
Now, how about areas where they're even more agrarian than we are here? Would those people have a better chance of avoiding it because of the necessary exercise of chasing the chickens or cows or pigs, whatever you have?
Yes, because the more activity you have, the more lean muscle mass you have that burns energy and uses glucose blood sugar more effectively, it's going to prevent or delay the onset of diabetes.
Is it still true that juvenile onset is the worst thing?
Type 1 onset in people who are juveniles, it's usually the most difficult to manage, the insulin dependent. But again, there are lots and lots of people with type 2 who now need insulin. And then they have, as soon as you need insulin, it's much more difficult to manage to keep those blood sugars within a normal range.
Let's take a moment here, since we're almost out of time, of reiterating the who, what, where, when, and why.
Diabetes and You Health Fair, Saturday, February 18th from 8 to 10:30 a.m. at Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital, 200 Stallhut Drive. We'll be having 4 speakers, Kat Tuhulk, nurse practitioner from Memorial Physician Services, talking about Know Your Numbers. Dr. Todd Mourning, director of ALMH Rehab Services, talking about exercise to improve diabetes. Myself, Jennifer DiPasquale, talking about healthy cooking. And Jude Clapper, a dietitian and diabetes educator from Memorial Services, talking about behavior modification. And then Dr. Wahab will do a keynote presentation at 9 a.m. We'll be having free screenings, light refreshments, and to register for that event, email events@healthycommunitiespartnership.org or call Christy Lesson, Healthy Communities Partnership Coordinator at ALMH, 605-5000 for the switchboard, or for her direct number, 605-5009.
And one more statistic before
Yes.
we go.
Yeah.
And you may be able to speak on this, since a survey came out that Logan County was, I think, in like the 99th least healthy out of all 102 counties in Illinois. Yes. So we have a long way to go. Events like this I think you're going to see this more and more, and the Healthy Communities Partnership is trying to do everything they can to get people healthy, changing lifestyles, providing health care in rural areas. But we are an unhealthy population. And if you talk to the local doctors, they see new diabetics every day. And it is almost an epidemic type endeavor that they are facing with dealing with diabetes. And this, if you think you are diabetic, pre-diabetic, whatever, you should be coming to this event to learn how you can go about making those choices now before it's too late.
We would like to thank you very much, Todd and Jennifer, for joining us. And everybody who is touched by diabetes, really think about going to this on Saturday and getting some new information.
Thank you very much. See you next Wednesday.